And finally we come on to the most recent Jaguar. Let's call it the X300,
That's the
wasn't it?
X300,
Introduced
yes.
in September 1994.
94.
It's a lot of car for the money. I mean, you can get into these sort of cars for the price of a new Mondeo, a new Ford Focus or something like that. This is what, £14,000?
That's correct. This has done 69,000 miles. What else can you get on the road for that? This is why people buy them and put the private plate on, because nobody knows what year they are. They've got a new Jaguar as far as everybody's concerned. They are absolutely superb. They're the only car I've ever sold in my life that had never, ever come back. No
so no problems at all that you've encountered?
None whatsoever. No matter what mileage is on.
Keep it well serviced.
Correct.
And you'll be all right.
Service history, as I've said to you before, is the criteria. You must have service history with them. If it hasn't, leave it. Easiest thing.
There's plenty of them about there to look for, aren't there?
You just take a look around the showroom. We've got them from £2,995 right up to £18,000.
What were the main differences between the old XJ40 and the X300 model?
Corrosion. That's the most important difference with them. They are totally, as I say, I keep saying to you, they're bulletproof. They're the best luxury car that I know of, bar none. That includes all the other so-called luxury cars. This is the one.
What sort of people tend to come into your place and buy these sort of cars? I mean, what are they tending to come out of to go into a Jaguar like this?
A hell of a lot of Jaguars.
A lot of people like Jaguars,
yes.
And they keep
Once
changing.
you've had one, once the Jaguar has bit you, you've had it. You can't drive anything else after one. They are absolutely superb to drive. But we're getting a lot more younger people in them now. This model, I don't know what it is about it, whether the shape of it or what, is now considered a younger man's car. This is why they brought the 3.2 Sport out and the XJR. You know, there's a lot more younger people buying them now. And when I'm saying younger, I'm talking 25 onwards, you know, whereas it used to be the 45, 55-year-old man that used to drive them. It's not the case nowadays.
So what's the cheapest that you could get into something like an X300?
Well, we've just sold one last week, and that's at the front of the showroom waiting to go out at £10,000.
With a big mileage on it?
128,000.
But with full service
with
history?
With full service history.
Now this model feels like a new car. It's one of the early X300 models, as Jaguar call them. They were introduced in September 1994 to replace the XJ40. And again, such a huge leap forward for the Jaguar marque. This is just beautiful. It's got all the toys on it, air conditioning, leather seats, all the wood that you expect in a Jaguar. It's done only 69,000 miles. It's got a full history, yet it costs just £14,000. When you think what else you can buy for £14,000 and the car market, well, I suppose you could buy a new Ford Focus, a new Vauxhall Vectra. But what would you rather be seen in? One of those or a Jaguar XJ6? Now, when these X300 models were introduced in 1994, they started out life as 3.2 and 4-litre six-cylinder engines. This 3.2 produces about 221 brake horsepower, but then in 1997, Jaguar changed the 3.2 and 4 litres to V8 engines, which are just superb. They were a lot more responsive and a lot more powerful. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with these six-cylinder engines, but the V8s are just, well, they're the ones to go for, but of course, you're going to pay the premium for that. Like any of these cars, check round it, make sure everything electric works, the air conditioning blows out lots and lots of cold air. That's what you want on something like this. Now, of course, if you want a high-performer Jaguar saloon, then the car to go for is the XJR. You can find the early six-cylinder XJRs at quite reasonable money, certainly in the late teens, and with over 320 brake horsepower under the bonnet, they really are a storming car. The later V8 XJRs have 370 brake horsepower under the bonnet and are just amazing to drive. It's like a sports car, but with all the room of a large luxury saloon.